couple of weeks ago, I was invited to an invitation-only event put on by Badoo, the dating social network, and I bumped into an interesting guy, a fellow called Christian Lanng, who is the founder of Tradeshift.com. So when I bump into interesting people, I like to have them into our San Francisco studio and talk to them a little bit about what they're up to. Christian's interesting on a number of fronts. He's a very intriguing entrepreneur. He has a very successful new startup. But perhaps most interestingly, at least to begin our conversation, Christian has just arrived in Silicon Valley. He showed up from Denmark in January. And we have this ongoing debate, of course, at TechCrunch about whether entrepreneurs should be based in Silicon Valley or Europe. Christian, why did you come to Silicon Valley?
Well, I think first...
By the way, Christian, before I throw you into the deep end, welcome to TechCrunch TV.
Thank you very much. We have been watching it also in Europe.
You have TVs in Europe?
Yeah,
you have
actually,
computers
we
in Europe?
even have cars on internet also.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's really great. So it's true. I came to San Francisco in January. I think mostly I was tired of traveling the other way. So the last year I've been here 13 times, the last 12 months. So we have a lot of partners. We have a lot of development work going on with companies based here. And as we were about to enter the US market, we we had a very long discussion. Do we want to go to New York or do we want to go to San Francisco?
And so you're excusing the pun, you're shifting Tradeshift from Copenhagen to San Francisco.
Yes, so we have around 70 people sitting in Copenhagen, in Scandinavia, and we are, just opening up our offices here and bringing a lot of people, but also hiring a lot of people here.
So that's quite a radical shift.
I actually think, to be a global company, our market is global. We're doing business all over the world. You have to build a global company, and I think too many companies, they are not really global. They have a headquarter and then they have satellite branches, and I think you need to be part of the culture. You need to hire people from that market. You need to understand it. So our plan is actually to have 3 global locations before 2013, Copenhagen, San Francisco, and Singapore.
Well, Christian, in all fairness, Scandinavia has generated a number of very successful internet companies and entrepreneurs. So what's in the water over there?
I don't know if I dare say it, but I think the welfare state is actually a huge part of it.
Interesting. Why?
Growing up, I was paid to go to university. So actually, the state, they want you to take a university education. So we have a lot of engineers. We have a lot of people who come out with very well-educated backgrounds who probably get bored. And the other thing is, of course, that you can actually start a lot of companies more or less while you're in university or being, sort of state-backed in the beginning because, we have a good welfare system.
So, Christian, is this the model? You grow up in Europe, the state pays for you to be educated and be in good health, and then you found a company, and then you come to America where none of that stuff's supported, but there is the market and the entrepreneurial culture to actually build a really world-class company.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think there's also another side to the problem, and I think even though we have that system and we have a lot of good people, I think the welfare system also kills the hunger a little bit. Like, I mean, a lot of people are very happy just working for IBM or Accenture, very big companies. So what's really great about US and Brazil and countries, like this is there's a huge hunger to create something and build something because you have to. And if you want to make it big, that's the way to go.
And of course, Scandinavia does tend to be a much more conformist culture than other parts of Europe.
Absolutely, but I mean, on the plus side, it's very dark and very cold 6 months a year, so we tend to stay inside and use our computers.
You have been very patient with me talking about Europe versus America. Talk to me now about your passion, Tradeshift. What is it? When did you start it? And where is this company going?
Yeah, so I think Tradeshift started with a very simple idea. Why is business software so broken? Like ask anybody who have an accounting system why they have it, and they probably say to stay out of jail.
Give me an example of an accounting system.
So that could be QuickBooks. That could be the typical small business accounting system. I mean, I don't know anybody who have a business who ever used that software to actually know where they are with their business, to see who they are doing business with, and it doesn't solve any of the big problems of having a business, which is basically finding new opportunities or getting paid. So we wanted to build a system.
So you're saying that all the current business software is crap, it doesn't work?
Yeah, more or less. And I think it is that way for one very big reason.
And would everyone agree? I mean, I guess that people who
have you used an accounting system? I mean,
well, I don't make any money, so I'm not a good person to
no,
ask.
but I think anybody who have used it will say they only do it. I mean, it's on the same level of you going to the dentist or something like that. You know, you have to do it, but you don't want to.
So the whole system is broken.
Yeah, but I think it's not really that the system is broken. It's just what it came from and what it grew out of. And I think that
which was the paper system.
Exactly, yes. And I think if you start to look at this other way around and start imagining, and that's really what we wanted with Tradeshift was, what if all companies in the world were connected in one network? Would you really need to shuffle paper around that you type into systems? We had customers who used to ship containers of paper to India where it was typed in. What if everybody was just connected, every transaction was online, real time, directly into the other party's system?
Well, isn't that what the internet is?
Yeah, that's what the internet makes possible. But nobody, for some reason, in business software have been doing it. They've all had these islands of systems where we like to type paper.
So you're saying that guys like SAP haven't done this?
Absolutely no. I mean, they have specialized in running the centers in India where you type in the paper. And what we do is we connect all those companies all over the world and take away the whole paper stream.
So explain what Tradeshift is. When was it founded?
So Tradeshift was founded in May 2010.
So it's not even a year, it's a year and a half old.
Exactly, yeah. And at its core, it's a very simple online business tool. You can do your invoicing, you can do your payments, but you can also connect to your business partners, large customers. And what we're really trying to do is having those connections to the other side, we can do a lot of smart stuff. So if you send an invoice to the National Health Service in the UK, we can actually see when the National Health Service, they approve that invoice. And when they do that, we can do stuff like helping you get paid earlier, giving you a discount. The National Health Service, they can tell you when they have a new window cleaning opportunity to their network. So we can help people, you know, do the good stuff for business, which is getting paid, which is getting jobs, and not so much the boring stuff, which is just typing.
So this is a hardcore business-to-business product.
It is, which is of course, you know,
not very sexy.
Absolutely no, but I think actually. Using data to solve the really big financial problems is probably one of the most sexy things you can do. And today we have more users in India, in Malaysia, and so on, who are using Tradeshift to get it connected into the Western economy. I mean, they're connecting to European very, very large logistic companies, retailers, etc., and delivering service using Tradeshift.
So, what did you have to build? Is it a platform, a product, a service?
So basically, first we have to build a platform which was more or less like what the banks have, which is very, very secure, very transactional.
Which is an ambitious project, right?
Yes, but we wanted to build it more like, you know, Gmail or Google, so global, scalable, using the cloud. And on top of that, we have made a layer of applications. You can basically use our platform yourself to build any kind of financial application. So if you want to build a logistics network using Tradeshift as a core, you can do that. If you want to do payments, you can do that. So we started out building the platform, and on top of that, we built the Tradeshift web application, which is what most people use.
Sounds to me like the kind of thing that perhaps Salesforce would put together.
Yeah, I think Salesforce, they grew out also from sort of like a little bit the islands. If you're looking at what they're doing with Force.com, it's really about you can install software for you. I would say that's almost more like a Microsoft or Google model. If you look at what we're doing right now, it's much more about building social business software. So we have people building loyalty apps for enterprises, which they can spread to their suppliers, which is much more Facebook style, basically. You build an app and you can spread it in the network. You can build logistics networks that spread by saying, hey, could you please give me your logistics information whenever you send me a package as part of the payment? So in that way, we are using, I wouldn't call it the social network, but the business network between companies much more, or that graph between companies.
Christian, so the company was founded in May 2010. How long did it take you to actually build the product?
We spent around 10 months.
And did you get outside financing?
No, we actually didn't. We did a tweet saying Morten Lund, who's one of our, he's our chairman. He did.
Who's a pretty well-connected guy.
Absolutely. He did a tweet saying, hey, I'm looking for developers for the next big thing. And we were actually swamped with applications.
So you partnered with Morten in the first place?
Yes, so I met Morten. Morten is also from Denmark, and I think we have a passion for disrupting big stuff. Last year was the telcos, now it's probably the banks and business software.
So how many people did you put together?
So for the first 10 months, we actually had more than 24 developers sitting in 3 different locations.
And did you pay them cash or you gave them stock?
100% shares. So it was in the middle of, I mean, we developed mostly through 2009, and it was just in the end of the financial crisis. And there was a lot of software developers around the world who were willing to work for shares.
And then when you finished building the product sometime last year, then what happened?
Well, when we put it out, when we launched it, we had this very controlled launch plan. I think a lot of startups can recognize this idea of having a controlled flow. We were going to launch in Scandinavia, in UK, and in Germany. And within 6 months, it had spread virally to more than 100 countries, simply because we didn't know it, but German companies, they were actually doing business with Chinese companies, buying stuff in China.
Well, was it a free service? How does it work?
So if you're a small company anywhere in the world, you can go to Tradeshift.com, you can sign up for free, you can create an account, and you can start doing business, and it's completely free.
So it's a freemium model?
Yeah, if you know, I'll say it's a two-sided market actually. If you're a large enterprise, you pay a lot to use our software. But it's very different software from what the small business they use. So you can say the large enterprises, they're subsidizing for the small business use, a little bit like Google advertisers are subsidizing for search.
And presumably then you went out and raised some cash as well.
So you know, we're running out of credit cards.
How much did you put on your credit cards?
So I think when my 4th credit rate had hit the maximum, when we were standing in Brazil talking to a small local government about using Tradeshift, we realized we had to get funding. And
Morten wouldn't write you a big check himself?
Morten was at that time unfortunately bankrupt because he'd been meddling in newspapers. So we got some capital from some angels around Scandinavia, and
who like?
It's a small consortium called I would call Morten's Friends. I don't think they're that well known. But after that, we got British investors, Notion Capital. We got a call from PayPal, who were very interested in what we were doing.
I can imagine.
And also became investors. And lately we just did a very large round with some Russian VCs. Yeah.
How much?
So we just put $17 million into Tradeshift this fall, which is basically being used for more global expansion, more expansion in the US.
And Christian, how many people now work for the company? And I assume now you're paying them cash, not stock.
Yeah, so we have switched over to paying cash. It seems that people actually need cash in the long run.
Yeah, I think we can understand that.
It's very hard,
especially in San Francisco.
Exactly, it's very hard to pay, you know, with shares at the grocery store. But we have around 70 people today. Yeah.
And real revenue?
Yeah, we have some good revenue. We have some very large.
Don't tell me that you're going to be profitable next year. I hope you're profitable now. I get so irritated when startup entrepreneurs tell me, "Oh, well, we're going to be profitable next year."
But I think you know that profitable is really, you know, you can become that. You can become that very easily just by stopping your growth. Yeah. So
you're not profitable.
We are not profitable, but we are growing very heavily.
And where do you want to be next year?
So next year we hopefully we have, you know, make a significant impact in the US. We have some very large customers we need to roll out for here in the US market, and at the same time we see a lot of small business picking up Tradeshift.
And what about people who are watching this who are excited by what you're doing? Do you still have opportunities now for new people in San Francisco?
Absolutely, we have. So just go to Tradeshift.com, jobs. There's a lot of open positions if you like to work with big data, financial stuff. You know, this is probably one of the coolest things you can do right now.
And have you laid off all your people in Copenhagen, or are you going to keep that off yourself?
No, we have not. We're actually expanding in Copenhagen, and I think one thing that's really great is we get very high quality engineers over there also, and at good rates. But we are switching people in and out, so it's also a good opportunity to see Europe if you feel like it.
Well, Christian, congratulations. You're already looking like a Silicon Valley entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I will look forward to keeping tabs on your progress, and perhaps next year at the Crunches you'll be nominated for one of the awards.
Yeah, let's hope that. So,
well, Christian from Tradeshift.com, thank you so much for appearing on TechCrunch TV.
Thank you.